Come on guys, let's get ready to receive. My wife's coming up to minister. She's pregnant with this word. She's been seeking God all week in prayer and fasting for you, because she wants you to get touched today. Amen. God has a word and an encounter for you today.
Thank you. It's good to be here, isn't it? It's good to be in the house of the Lord. This is the Father's house, and you can feel His love in this place. And today I really want to minister from that atmosphere of the Father's love, because deliverance, we're talking about deliverance, the children's bread. Deliverance, it is the provision of the Father for us, His children. And deliverance, it's been so misunderstood, and it's been so mysticized, and it's been taught so many times wrongfully that we, as His children, we shy away from it often. Yet one of the most beautiful things that the Father has handed over to us through His Son, Jesus Christ, is the ministry of deliverance. And it is the demonstration of His love. Now, Jesus called it, he called it the children's bread in Matthew 15. So it belongs to us. Deliverance belongs to us as children of God. It's our covenant right. It's part of our inheritance to receive it. It's our daily bread. It's our daily bread. It's the provision of the Father for us. And we don't have to beg for it. We don't have to beg for it. He wants all His children to receive it. So He's provided it for us all. It's the manifestation of His love to us. So Jesus came to reveal that love. Jesus came to reveal the Father. Jesus came to set the captives free. He came to show that love of the Father to us. And it's in that place of receiving the love of the Father that we're liberated. Because the word for deliverance in Spanish actually is libertad, which means liberty. Liberty. So that's what deliverance is. It's being set free from captivity. It's the Father setting you free from bondage. And it's in that place of receiving His love. And I heard a story this week that kind of illustrates this. It's Heidi Baker was telling about this encounter she had in Mozambique with this little old lady who was crouched in the dust, and she was blind, and she only had 3 teeth. And this woman, she'd never had a name. She'd never had a name. Her parents hadn't given her a name. I think probably she was an orphan. So she'd lived all her life without knowing her name. So Heidi comes to this woman, and she doesn't feel to pray for her eyes to be healed. She doesn't feel to lead her in a prayer of salvation. All she feels to do with this woman is to simply embrace her with the love of the Father, and to just hold her. And she's there rocking this woman. And the Father says to Heidi, I want you to name her. I want you to give her a name. Her name is Joy. Is Joy, that's her name. I'm adopting her, and I'm giving her a name. And so she's holding this woman, she's receiving the joy and the love of the Father. And then all of a sudden, her eyes that were blind, they went from white to brown. In that place, I didn't even pray for her eyes. She didn't even pray for them. Yeah. So what that symbolizes for us, and what the Father is saying to us, that He just wants to hold us in His arms and give us our identity. He'll call us by our name, pour His love into us. And it's in that place that you receive your healing. It's in that place that you receive your deliverance and you're set free. It's in that place of receiving the love of the Father. That Jesus came to heal the brokenhearted, and He came to set the captives free. So it's when your heart is open, when your heart is receptive and receiving the love of God, that you're going to be set free from captivity. Because we, even as Christians, we can still have areas of captivity. We can be in captivity in our minds, in our emotions, in our bodies. There's captivity that we can still be carrying. That's why we need deliverance. We need more of the love of the Father. We still need deliverance. It's the children's bread. And we took our kids to see The Lion King earlier this week. And there's a lot in that movie about fatherhood. There is, but there was one scene that really spoke to me. And it's where Mufasa, the father lion, he rescues Simba from the hyenas. And to me, the hyenas, they represent demons. What happens is, Simba, he goes where he's been forbidden to go because he wants an adventure. So he takes his friend Nala and they go down to the Elephant Valley where the dead elephant's bones are, and that's where the hyenas live. So he goes there, and there's this scene where he and Nala, they're surrounded by the hyenas, and they're closing in on them, and they're snarling, and they're getting ready to devour him. And he just cries out, "Dad! Dad!" And he tries to roar, he tries to growl, but just this little tiny meow comes out. And the hyenas, they're just laughing, they're like, do it again. And then he opens his mouth, and you hear this gigantic, ferocious roar! And you think it's Simba, and the hyenas are shuddering. And they think it's Simba, but it's not, it's Mufasa. Mufasa, this great big father lion, he comes pounding in, and he grabs those hyenas, those demons, in his teeth, and he's throwing them left and right. He's throwing them against the rocks. And he gets his son, and he takes him out of there. He rescues him out of that place. And then later, Simba says to his dad, "Oh, those hyenas, they were really afraid of you." And Mufasa just laughs and says, "It's because no one messes with your dad." No one messes with your dad. And we have a Father in heaven, and no one messes with our dad. Amen? No one messes with our dad. The devil doesn't mess with our dad. And when you get that revelation that you are a child of God, that you are a son of God, that you have a Father in heaven that no one messes with, he's going to stop messing with you. The devil's going to stop messing with you. So you need to get that revelation that you are a child of God. No one messes with your dad. Why don't we shout that out? No one messes with my dad. No one messes with my dad. No one messes with my dad. Let's just cry, "Abba Father, deliver me. You're my daddy. You're my dad. Come and deliver me." And he's going to come in. He's going to come into that place. Even if it's your own fault. Even if you've been walking in sin. You've been walking in darkness. You've been walking away from the Lord. And you've gone away from his boundaries. Even in that place, he's going to come and get you. He's going to come and get you. And it's like when Simba opened his mouth, it was the Father's roar came through then. So when you take a stand, to get this as well, when you take a stand against the enemy, when you open your mouth, what's going to come through? It's not your voice. It's that voice of authority. It's the voice of a lion. The roar is going to come through. There's a roar of deliverance that's going to come through when you take your stand in faith against the devil. Sometimes when it comes to deliverance, it's like we fear. Because we feel like we're going to get chastised for doing wrong, or we feel like we're going to get labelled. So we shy away from deliverance, and we don't come out and go and get help and say what we're struggling with someone trusted, because we're afraid. We're afraid of what they will think of us. We're afraid of what people will say. And we really see pride acting on that. And it's pride that often is pride that's standing in the way, that's standing between you and your deliverance. It's just your pride. It's just your pride. You just got to receive your deliverance. I am not ashamed to receive my deliverance. I am not ashamed to acknowledge that I need deliverance. I need more deliverance. I need the Father's bread, the children's bread from the Father. I need my deliverance. I need my freedom. So I really want to break that power of shame. I really want to take that weapon out of the devil's hands today. Because it's because of that shame that many of us have held back from receiving what the Father wants to give us, the freedom He wants to give us. Amen. Oh, thank you, Father. Thank you, Daddy. So another fear that we can have when it comes to deliverance is the fear of the unknown. The fear of the unknown, because deliverance is the mystery of God. It's a mystery. You know what a mystery is? It's not a formula. It's not like something you can count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, because it's progressive. You're going to go on being delivered. And the revelation that we've obtained from our apostle is deliverance in the now. It's the supernatural now. That you receive your deliverance now. Thank God that you've come to a church where there's a revelation of the now. Where there's a revelation of the supernatural now. Because that means that demon that you've been struggling with for 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, now we have the revelation to cast it out. Amen? We have to understand that deliverance is a need. It's a need, or God wouldn't have provided for it. It's the children's bread. Deliverance is the children's bread that we need to go on receiving. I mean, how often do you eat bread?
Every day.
Yeah. You know, it's not on special occasions. Yeah, I love bread. If you know me, you know that I love bagels. I have bagel every morning. Everybody loves bread. You know, my kids love bread. There's always bread in the kitchen. My husband loves bread. He puts everything in the sandwich. He always wants to put a loaf of bread on the table in the middle of the table at dinner time. But, you know, so when you eat bread every day, most people, apart from, you know, if you're on a low-carb diet. So deliverance, it's a daily ministry. Every day, when I come before the Father, there's deliverance for my soul. Every day, when I come before my Father, there's a new layer of deliverance that I come confronted with. Every day, when I come before my Father, there's something new that He uncovers that I had and I didn't know, because it's my daily bread. This is deliverance. This is deliverance. I love deliverance. I love deliverance. Because without deliverance, there's no growth. Without deliverance, there's no growth. Without receiving your deliverance, there's no growth. And there's, you know, look at the plagues that we see in the church. You know, I'm not saying this to accuse anybody of doing wrong, but what do we see in the church? You know, we see sin, we see idolatry, we see lying, we see abuse, we see nervous breakdowns, we see pastors quitting ministry. And what does all this tell us? There's a need for deliverance. In the church, there's a need for deliverance. And there's many people that get frustrated because they feel like they're running in circles. Because they're facing the same issue over and over again. You know, and they might fast and they might pray and nothing changes. No, they go to church every Sunday, nothing changes. They confess the word, they confess it and confess it, and there's no change. That's the evidence that there's a need for deliverance. That's the evidence there's a demonic influence that we can't ignore. And I want you to receive this. I want you to receive this because through this revelation, you're going to get delivered. Because you're going to make the revelation your own. Amen? So we've established that we need deliverance and we're the children of God. And how many know that children of God cannot be possessed by a demon? You can't be possessed. And don't get afraid to say the word demon. Because some people are like, oh no, don't say the word demon, don't talk about the devil, don't talk about that demon stuff. I can just hear it in my head. Because in the church, there's been two extremes. On the one hand, there's been an over-infatuation with what is a demon and what the devil is doing. And then on the other hand, there's been this fear. There's been total denial. Oh, we don't go there. We don't want to talk about the devil. We just want to talk about the Lord.
Right. That's right. True.
But we need to call a spade a spade. There are demons. There are demons. And what is a demon? They are evil spirits from hell that don't have a body. Therefore, they look for a body to express themselves through. They look for a body by which they advance the kingdom of darkness. So there are demons. I've had experiences with demons. How many have had experiences with demons? Because the church is so often like, oh no, don't talk about that, don't talk about that. And that's why I talk about the fear. The fear is one of the reasons that the enemy has been gaining is because of this fear that people have. So we don't go there because we tend to fear what we don't understand. And we fear that we might be attracting demons or that we're somehow glorifying the devil. No, we're exposing them. We're exposing the devil. And I want to expose that lie because it's because of that the devil has got away with so much. Because we don't go there.
That's right.
We choose to remain ignorant. I'm not going to walk afraid of the devil. I'm not. But I'm not going to walk ignorant either.
Yeah.
Because the Bible says that it's because of ignorance that people perish.
Yeah.
And the church of Jesus Christ is perishing because of our ignorance towards deliverance.
That's right.
The devil has been killing, stealing and destroying from the children of God.
Yeah.
And we've just been letting it go on because we choose to remain ignorant. Because we don't go there.
That's right.
We say we love Jesus. But it's one thing to say we love Jesus and another to really love Jesus. And if we love Jesus, we'll do what he said. And we'll kick those demons out. Amen?
Yes.
So we know that a Christian cannot be possessed. Why? Because Jesus lives in our hearts. And once you call Jesus your Lord, there can't be double possession. But you can be influenced. You can be influenced. You can be oppressed. You can be obsessed. You can be depressed. You can be attacked. You can even be enslaved in certain areas of your life where there's a weak spot.
That's right.
So everybody here, can you begin to visualize areas in your own life where you may have been being influenced? Don't put up your hand, just know. So how can you know that you're being influenced? Easy. Any area of your life that you see you have no control over, there's a demon bringing an influence. Anything that's not natural is compulsive. That's demonic. Compulsive eating is demonic. I know we established that we all love bread, but we need self-control. And in the areas where we have none, there's an influence. There's an influence. In the areas where we don't want to be like that, but we can't stop it, there's an influence. In the area where you're not in control, where it's not your will, there's an influence. So when it comes to our negative behavior, there's two elements. There's the demonic influence, and then there's our flesh. And what is the flesh? You've heard that. You've heard about this. It's the sinful nature. It's the old nature. It's if someone could put up Colossians 3 verse 9 for me, please. Colossians 3 verse 9 and 10. This is the life that was. Because I want you to understand something. You are a spirit, you have a soul, and you live in a body. You've heard that, yeah? So when we come to know Jesus, our spirit that was dead, it was dead in sin, it gets wakened up from death. But your soul is different. So in Colossians 3:9 it says, "Do not lie to one another, since you have put off the old man with his deeds." Now if you go to verse 10, it says, "And have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge, according to the image of him who created him." Your soul needs to get renewed. Your soul needs to get renewed so that we can be like the image of him who created us. So that's why we want to serve God. We want to do so many things for him. We want to love the people, but our old man isn't letting us. That's the flesh. It's the flesh. It's the nature that we've had. And we need to understand this. The soul that needs to get renewed, the soul is made up of three things: the mind, the will, and the emotions. So here we have your emotions. Everything you've been through in life is right there. It's there. And it's a veil of perception when it's not been renewed. Yeah? It's a veil of perception. When you've been abused, you look at the world, when you haven't renewed your soul, through the eyes of abuse. When you've been rejected, hear me, because I've seen a lot of cases where there's people who come into the church, God brings them to the church to get delivered, and they walk out because of rejection.
That's right.
Because they're still looking at the people that surround them through rejection. Don't let your hurt, your background, what you've been through, your upbringing, your race, be a filter to keep you from the things of God. Don't let it. I'm not going to let my upbringing keep me from the freedom that I have in Jesus. If God brought you to this house, He brought you to this house. This is the house of your deliverance. This is the house where you're going to receive the children's bread. This is your home. This is your spiritual home. And some of you need to hear that so that you don't walk out again as you keep going back to the wilderness. Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter where you've come from. It doesn't matter what people have told you, how they've cursed you, the colour of your skin, how you have your hair, how you act. Don't let those things in your emotions keep you from your deliverance. Don't let what you've seen all your life negatively influence you to the point that it will keep your blessing away. Don't let it. If I would have been controlled by my emotions, I never would have responded to the call of God on my life. You know why? Because I was rejected. I was abused, I was backstabbed, I was betrayed, I was put down, and half of those was in the church. I know what depression is. I've been there. But people who are led by their emotion, they say, oh, I feel this, oh, they just make me feel that. Or they might be looking for a certain emotion and then they'll say, I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. I don't belong here. I'm going to leave. And they go back to their wilderness again when God is calling you to stay so that He can get your bread to you, so that He can feed you and deliver you and set you free. Don't let your emotions keep you from your promised land. Know this, Moses, thank you Jesus, Moses had an issue. He had an issue with anger, right? And one of the days along the way in the desert, God says to him, speak to the rock. So Moses gets mad with his issue of anger. He hits the rock. Did Moses make it to the promised land? No, he didn't. He died before he got in. You're letting your emotions keep you from your promised land. You're bound to those emotions. And I don't know why I'm still in this topic, but I'm going to remain here till I like talk it through. You know, you're so focused on what they did to you in the old church, on the old scene. You know, you haven't moved on. You're bound to those emotions. You're bound to that place. The pain that it caused you is still there. You still carry it in your soul. You haven't let it go. And you're letting it colour your perception now. You're letting it influence you now. You're letting it prevent you from just trusting and receiving the Father's love coming through the ministers that He puts in front of you. You need to trust again. You need to let go. You need to be healed of the past and leave the past in the past. And God, He's just waiting for you. He's waiting for you. And He's calling you today. He's waiting for you to let go of those emotions to Him. That you might live a life more abundantly. Because He's called you to an abundant life. He has an abundant life for you that you're missing out on. Because you're still holding, you're still gripping those emotions. You're still tied to that place back there where they hurt you emotionally. Don't bring it with you into the now. You've got to cut it off. Because that's in your flesh. That's in your flesh. You need to be renewed. Putting on the new man. Die to your flesh. So then, in the soul, then there's your mind. Everything that you've learned is there. Everything your parents taught you, how you grew up, your worldview. And many of us, we still haven't taken out that paradigm of how we grew up. Many of us, there's still a voice in our head that says, I can't, no, I don't do that, I don't go there. There's a containment, there's a limitation, and it's all in your head. And these things become paradigms that we don't know how to break. So you see why we need deliverance. You see why we need deliverance. Your soul, your mind, your flesh is battling against the Spirit. And the flesh that isn't crucified is an open door to the demons. Ephesians 4:17 says, don't give a foothold to the devil. In fact, in the Amplified, it expands on that and it says, anger is a mighty foothold to the devil, because the verse before it's talking about anger. That's an example of something in the flesh that if you indulge in, if you give yourself to that, it's going to attract demons because they can smell it. They're attracted to the flesh. They want to partner with the flesh. When you give yourself to the flesh, you're opening the door to the devil. And you're giving him a legal right to come in and attack you. You're giving him place. You're giving him place in your life. Jesus said, where the carcass is, there the vultures will gather. The carcass, that's your flesh. The vultures, that's the demons. They're attracted to rotten flesh. Your flesh stinks. My flesh stinks. It stinks. Why don't you say to the person next to you, your flesh stinks. You need to take it to the cross. You need to crucify the flesh. Come on, you don't know that you want to crucify your flesh. You need to crucify your flesh. That's how you need to view the flesh. Don't go easy on the flesh. Your flesh stinks. It's attracting demons. You've got to crucify it. So you might say, well, how do you do that? How do you crucify the flesh? The secret is you do it. You do it. No one else can do it. You know, you have to submit to God. You have to walk away from your sin. Submit to God. Resist the devil and he will flee from you. But if you don't submit to God, if you won't forsake that sin, that demon that's rode on the back of that sin, he's not going to go because he's got every right to be there. But if you forsake your sin, you're sending him the message, no, you're not welcome here anymore. And he's going to flee. So when it's When it's the flesh, you crucify it. You can't cast it out. You have to crucify it. But when it's a demon, you got to cast it out. You know, don't play with that thing. You got to take authority. You got to say no, and you got to cast it out. Don't counsel it. Don't pet it. Don't play with it. Cast it out. You know, don't let the devil talk.
Amen.
I don't need to hear his speech. You know, the demons, they could be like politicians, you know.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
never let the devil talk.
Yeah, that's right.
You need to stop letting the devil talk. In your head, you need to stop letting the devil talk. Okay? Because you've been in that self-pity party for so long that low self-esteem, that spirit of low self-esteem, it's your BFF. It's your best friend. And you don't want to let him go. Because he says amen to every little pity party thing you say. Oh, they don't love me. Oh, they just ignore me. Oh, the pastor didn't pray for me. I'm going to leave. What are you leaving for? Stay.
That's right.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Tell the demon in your head to shut up and cast it out. Die in your flesh that jumps every time they give you what you want. And sit down and receive. Because today is the day of salvation. Not tomorrow, it says today.
That's right.
So many of you have got so used to your devil. You're used to him hanging around. You're comfortable. It's true. You're comfortable
right.
with that devil.
Yeah.
You don't want to let him go. And you're not comfortable with the ministry of deliverance. Let me give you an example. Mark chapter 5. The lunatic, right? It was crazy. So here we see Jesus' encounter with legions of demons. And after this I'm going to minister because I feel it's time. And I want to tell you this so that you won't be afraid, because I want to disarm the devil in this way, because many of you have been afraid. So we see this guy that's a lunatic. He lives in the graveyard. He cuts himself. Does that sound familiar to this generation? He cuts himself. This guy was so possessed that they would chain him with metal. They would put metal chains around him, he would break them. This was such a possessed man. I want you to get that image in your mind. He was such a possessed man that they would chain him with metal chains and he would break them. He would break metal. That's supernatural strength. He was a lunatic. He lives in the graveyard. He cuts himself. He's crying all night. And Jesus comes. And this man comes over and he says, "What do you want with us?" With us. Because he's got legions of demons in him. And Jesus says, "Shut up, leave." You know the story. He sends the demons out of the man into the pigs and they fall over the cliff. But what's interesting to me, and here's my point, is what happened afterwards. The people in the town, they would rather live with the lunatic. After Jesus delivered him. After Jesus delivered him. They were afraid. And they told Jesus to leave. They preferred living with the lunatic rather than allowing Jesus to continue delivering the people in the town. Much of the church prefers living with the lunatic
That's right.
rather than kick the devil out of the church and allow deliverance of the people. Many of you are still living with the lunatic out of fear. Stop living with the lunatic. Stop living with that self-pity. Oh, stop living with that self-harm. Stop living with that self-hatred that you've got. Stop living with that addiction that you've got. Stop living with that unclean spirit you've got in your mouth. That everything you say is a swear word. Stop living with that bitterness, with that pain you've got in your bones because of unforgiveness. And Jesus came to set the captives free. He came to set the captives free. And he's here today. Jesus is here today for your deliverance. He's here in this place. That you won't have to live like that. You've got so used to hanging out with your demon. There's people here. There's people here, you've lived in such a way, and you put your emotions in such a way that in your mind you've said, no, they don't hurt me again. No, I'm not going to let them hurt me again. And that's why your soul's been in that place. And you put those walls up. But Jesus is coming to kick down those walls. And he's coming to get you out. You've been hiding in depression. You've been hiding out with that spirit of fear because you're comfortable with it. But today is the day for your deliverance. Today is the day that he's going to rescue you. Today is the day that the Father's going to come in. And today is the day we declare, no one messes with my dad. No one messes with my dad. And devil, we tell you right now, you're going to stop messing. You're going to stop messing with these children of God. Because we have the revelation of the Father. And he is in us. And greater is he that is in us than in he that is in the world. You need deliverance. I don't know about you, but I need deliverance. I don't know about you, but I love deliverance. And my soul is not going to tell me what to do. My soul is not going to tell me to remain bound. My soul is not going to govern what I am. David said, I will tell my soul. I will tell my soul what to do. And today is the day that you receive that revelation from the Father that deliverance belongs to you. And you're going to be saying to your soul, bless the Lord, oh my soul, bless the Lord. Oh my soul, bless the Lord. In all the areas where we've been influenced by a demon. And right now, the demons have to flee. They have to flee. They have to flee. Stand to your feet. Please stand to your feet. Kustera mashando robashe. Roba suturubate tete robobosondo. Robase kara. Yeah, you don't have to fear. You don't have to fear, says the Spirit of God. Don't fear the mysteries of deliverance. Don't fear the mysteries of deliverance. Because I paid it at the cross. I paid it at the cross for you. So that you might be enriched by it. Oh, Holy Spirit, we thank you. We thank you for manifesting the children's bread today. Oh, the Holy Spirit is going to begin delivering. He's delivering. He's delivering the people of God right now. The children of bread is in this house. The children's bread. The children's bread. Come receive it. Come receive it now. I want you to pray. Pray together with me. Father, in the name of Jesus. I thank you for the cross and what was done at the cross. Now I receive the revelation what deliverance is. And right now I repent who were affected by the demonic influence. In the name of Jesus right now. They're cleansed by your blood. By your blood. By your blood. By your blood. Every wound that came to my life, in any trauma, right now, by your cross, I know I'm healed. I'm healed. I receive your deliverance. Come on, just receive it now. Receive your deliverance. In any physical condition in my body that came through giving place to demons in my life, right now is healed. In Jesus' name. In Jesus' name. I receive my deliverance. It's my daily bread. Father, here we are. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. The Spirit of God is in this place. The Spirit of God is delivering. And I know that while I was preaching, many of you I mentioned your condition. And I want everybody to feel free to come to the front. Come to the front to receive your bread. Come to the front to receive. Acknowledge, I need deliverance. I want my deliverance. Come to the front. This is the day you're going to receive. You're going to receive it. Receive it now. I also felt I wanted to call women. Women who you're still walking with a past abuse. You're still carrying, you're still bound to those emotions. In your emotions, you're still walking with that past abuse. We want to set you free from that spirit of abuse. There's a spirit of abuse. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Abandonment. Abandonment. The spirit of abandonment. Some of you have lived your life. Lifelong you've been carrying the spirit of abandonment. Because you felt abandoned by your parents. Or you felt abandoned by someone close that you loved. And today we're going to break that power of abandonment. And we're going to clean up that area in your soul. I also felt addictions, very strongly. I felt this. God wants to set people free from addictions. Addictions to pornography, addictions to lying, addictions to pills, addictions to alcohol, addictions to food. Whatever's controlling you, we're going to break that power today. Jesus is here to break that power of addiction. So I want you to lift your hands. Lift your hands. I want to count to 3. That power of addiction is going to break. That power of addiction is going to break. Thank you, Jesus, for manifesting deliverance. So right now, in the name of Jesus, 1, 2, 3. Spirit of addiction, let them go. Spirit of addiction, let them go. Spirit of addiction, let them go. Spirit of addiction, leave. Leave these bodies now. Eating disorders. Eating disorders. Compulsive eating. You have an issue with food. You have an unhealthy relationship with food. The devil wanted you to have an eating disorder. Anorexia. Bulimia. They're demonic spirits. Jesus is delivering you now. Jesus is delivering you now. Come out now. In the name of Jesus. Come out now. Every spirit of an eating disorder. Leave now in Jesus' name. The spirit of control. The spirit of control. You fear not being in control. You fear being controlled by people. You have to be in control. You can't cope when circumstances are beyond your control and you freak out. And that leads to an explosion of anger. And then there's guilt, then there's self-condemnation. You have to break the cycle. Today's the day you break the cycle. You break that agreement. Say, I break that agreement with the spirit of control. like yourself. You don't like your body. You think you're fat. You think you're ugly. And you hate yourself. There's a demon behind that. There's self-hatred.